What is going on, everyone? It is your boy Captain here with another Diablo 4 video today. Today we're going to be talking all about legendary aspects. So if you are newer to the Diablo franchise or you're just joining us again wanting a refresher on Diablo 4 legendary aspects, this video is going to be for you. Today we're going to be talking about what legendary aspects are, where do you find legendary aspects, and how do you actually utilize them, or how you use them realistically. So legendary aspects, what they are going to be these little star abilities at the bottom of weapons, which are going to be legendary weapons, the orange ones that drop throughout the game. Now there is going to be two ways specifically to get these legendary aspects. One is going to be through the Codex of Powers, and that is going to basically be by doing dungeons all throughout the entire realm. And realistically, you'll see them and you can collect these aspects. For example, I have 69 out of 115. You can even search just by my class specifically on there. And these are all going to be different abilities for different build types for different characters. So it is going to be a jumble of them here. Now, again, how you find these is you just look around the map, anywhere around your map, and you're going to look for these white gates, of course, the dungeons, and they're going to have the yellow chest on them. Again, yellow chest, you'll look for that on the side. And those are going to be the ones that are going to reward you with a legendary aspect after you complete them. Now there is going to be three types of legendary aspects based off of what tier difficulty play, which we will get to. And again, you can collect these legendary aspects either by the Codex of Powers through these dungeons or by drops from just legendary weapons. Every legendary weapon that drops will have a legendary aspect attached to it that you can use and match up. Now certain ones are going to be better than others. Certain drops are going to have more. As you can see here, you can get the same aspect twice. You can get it multiple times over and over again, and it could have a different stat each time. Now that's very important when you're looking at building your character and utilizing these aspects, is you want to go for the ones that have the highest numbers or the highest rolls possible and kind of discard the rest. But we'll get into that more, of course, later on in the future. So again, there is going to be three types of aspects. There's going to be legendary, which is going to be on tier 1 and tier 2. You're going to also have the sacred legendary aspects, which is going to be on tier 3s, and then you're going to have the ancestral legendary aspects, which is going to be mainly found on your world tier 4s. Now again, these three are going to be the different type of aspects, as far as difficulty wise, and they are going to have different stats according to them. So now to continue on with the aspects, so there's also going to be unique aspects, but we won't really get into those because you can't actually change unique aspects or remove them. So you cannot imprint a unique nor extract a unique weapon or aspect of any kind. So they're pretty much useless. But another thing to know about the aspects is they do have allowed items that they can be on. So certain aspects can go on weapons, certain aspects can go on rings, for example, certain aspects can go on helmets, gloves, chest pieces. You do want to remember that when choosing your aspects or making a character build, that you may have to mix and match your armor and put certain things on a certain armor piece because of that. Now also, as you can see here, certain aspects also, like certain weapons or items, boost the aspect. So as you can see, two-handed weapons actually give an aspect 100% more power. So for example, this bone storm one would be doubled. It would move to 12.8 seconds instead of the 6.4, and if it went to the amulet, it would also be another 50%. So it'd be like 9.6 or something like that, for example. So certain aspects you do want to put on your weapons, for example, because you want that 2 times attack power. If you use two-handed weapons, rather if you use 1 and 1, it is 50-50. Also, aspects do have a level cap, so certain aspects you can only put on a certain weapon. As you can see, this one is a 77 or up, so you would have to put it on a 77. It is important in knowing aspects. So your aspect key or aspect person is going to be the occultist. You can see it here on the map. It's going to be this little triangle looking thing right here. They're not going to be in every town, but they will be in most of the major cities. Now they can either imprint aspects or extract aspects. Those are the two things that this gentleman will do, and that is going to be your land when it comes to aspects. Now we will go through both of those options right now, and I'll explain both of them. Alright, so I'm going to try to say this without confusing anyone, but you cannot stack these aspects. So basically, you cannot use the same aspect in two different gear slots. You can only use an asset one time. So even if you put it in two different gear pieces, the effect will only happen once. It'll only do one of the effects. So just something to remember. And as well as these aspects, of course, are drop based, so they will randomly drop. You cannot guarantee you're going to get a certain aspect. You may get an aspect one time and then never see it again, unfortunately. That's just the way it works with the random number drop. So moving on to the occultist, here you can extract items. So you can extract aspects from legendary items. However, if you extract the aspect from the legendary item, it will break that item. So the aspect will go into your aspect spot, but the weapon itself will be destroyed. So just an important thing to remember. And then again, this is just going to show you in the preview where you can actually put that aspect in your slot before you go ahead and destroy that weapon. Now, things you cannot extract are imprinted aspects. Now, imprinted aspects are things that you get from the from the occultist, that you actually put the aspect into the slot. So again, you cannot extract an imprinted aspect. Once an aspect is imprinted, it is there and you cannot extract it. Now, another thing you can do with legendary aspects is you can actually add them to rare armors or rare weapons, anything that's rare, and turn them into legendary weapons. Now, it doesn't change the actual properties of the weapon itself, but it will give them that legendary ability. So for example, that's what the imprint is for, is we're going to take that chest piece, we're going to hit imprint here. Now you can go to the Codex of Powers and use those aspects, or you can do one that you extracted. So for example, we're just going to use one that we've already extracted, and as you can see here, this we can put in the armor spot. Now, when we do that, it is going to make that into a legendary chest piece, but it will not change the properties of the armor other than giving it that imprint. Now again, a weapon or armor piece can be imprinted multiple times, so you can keep imprinting the same armor piece. However, you cannot take that imprinted aspect back out of the weapon. So again, once you remove an aspect from a legendary weapon, it destroys that weapon. Once a weapon is imprinted, that imprint cannot be removed. However, you can imprint a weapon multiple times. I know it's kind of confusing, but there you go. So that is just going to be some important stuff to remember. Again, once an item is imprinted with an aspect, that aspect cannot be removed from that item. Again, that just comes in handy when you're leveling up, if you're switching gear pieces a lot, if you're starting to switch things out, because you need to have backups of that same aspect essentially. Otherwise, if you get a new gear piece, you're SOL and you may lose that legendary ability. So I always recommend stashing them, saving them, keeping them up like this. As you can see, these legendary aspects are all different in percentages. However, I have multiples of the ones that I think that I'll need. Again, it is very important to start stashing your legendaries early and aspect wise, because if you switch gear sets in the future, or say you get that nice new set of gloves and you're like, dang, I like these gloves, but they don't have my legendary ability, so I can't use them. Well, you can put that aspect on it if you have a duplicate, but again, with the random number generator, you never know when you're going to get that drop again. You could get that aspect, 3 times in a row. You could get that aspect once and not see it again for another 20 levels. So it is important when you do get duplicates of the aspects you like to keep them, stash them. As you see in my box, I have all types of different ones. Like I said, you never know when you're going to want to change builds. You never know when you're going to want to switch kind of character size or switch a move, and you're going to need, legendary aspects readily available. So that is one thing to do. And again, I cannot help you in this video with which aspects specifically are going to go with your character. Each character is different, and certain aspects will harm and help your character. So you are going to have to, watch other guide videos or other videos on your specific character to know which aspects would specifically be best for you. But this is just going to be how to utilize aspects in general for your character. So like I said, when you get new gear, you're going to need new aspects, and as you can see, you stash the ones. And again, you can look for percentages. You always want to try to go for the good rolls of aspects and things like that to utilize. Again, a weapon that is imprinted can be imprinted as many times as possible. So if you get, say in the future, you put an aspect on a weapon, you imprint it, you really like that one, and you get a better roll in the future, you can always you imprint that weapon again without a problem. However, if you find a new gear piece and you don't have a backup of that legendary aspect available, well, you can't use that new gear piece yet, you know, unless you really want to risk it. So, those are just some things to know. Well, thanks so much, everyone. That is everything. Literally, that is everything on legendary aspects in Diablo 4. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Again, it is your boy, Captain. Thank you so much. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. But again, that was a fun one. It was a wild one. Please, I hope this helps. Again, thank you so much. That is Legendary Aspects in Diablo 4.